Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold! Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Want to make a difference in your community but not sure how? Go to GoFundMe.com right now and start a GoFundMe. Seriously. Your next fundraiser doesn't have to start in a school parking lot or a church basement. You can start a GoFundMe today in just minutes. Fundraise for yourself, a friend, or family member, or an organization. All that matters is that you care about them. GoFundMe is the trusted place to fundraise for what you care about. With no pressure to hit your fundraising goal, but tons of tools to help you reach it, you can confidently start fundraising right now. Whether it's creative, local, or critical, your cause matters. And there's a reason why GoFundMe is backed by millions and chosen by fundraisers everywhere. It works, and it matters. GoFundMe helps you make a real difference. Start your GoFundMe today at GoFundMe.com. That's GoFundMe.com. GoFundMe.com. This is a commercial message brought to you by GoFundMe.
You're listening to the Best Morning Routine Ever podcast, the show that proves no one stumbles upon success ever. With your host, Lou Need. Every Mondays and Thursdays, we deliver cold hard evidence behind the power of a robust morning routine. Get ready to be transformed by the renewal of your mind.
Hello, morning enthusiasts. Welcome to the Best Morning Routine Ever podcast. I am your host, Dr. Lunid, and today I have an amazing guest coming to the show, Kareen Zahr Walsh. Now, she is a visionary business strategist, author, podcast. Her podcast is called The Business Healer, with nearly 2 decades of experience. This is e-commerce, finance, you name it. And now she helps C-suite leaders turn their vision into action and achieving 10x return. Who doesn't want that? I'm thrilled to have her on here. So with no further ado, Kareen, welcome to the show.
So great to meet you, Dr. Lunid, and be able to serve your audience. I'm excited to have a conversation today.
Yes, let's talk about your vast experience and how that kind of transitioned to working with leaders and actually 10xing their results.
Yeah. So when I initiated my career, I was a very focused, goal-getting, overachiever, corporate climbing person. And so what had happened in the beginning of my career was I went from like a business analyst to a senior director of mergers and acquisitions in less than 5 years.
Wow.
Like literally was at a accelerated trajectory, and found that the advancement happened because of my focus on how I love to lead others, but also realized there was such a gap in training and the availability for other leaders to rise up. So that translated over time into me actually coaching other leaders and how they would step up into who they're meant to become. Now I've taken all my acumen, my 20 plus years of experience delivering very complex tech, projects or working in different startups. And I'm now an investor. I help entrepreneurs grow and scale their businesses. And I really just want all of what I've learned to be leveraged as fast as possible so that people can get to where they want to get to in a way that is aligned with who they are, but also have this like inner knowing of who they have to become to lead it. So that's literally where I'm at today, which has been really fun and exciting to build business from this perspective.
Yeah, thank you for what you do, because what you've learned in 2 decades, in 20 years, someone can pick up in 2 to 3 months because of your expertise.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. And I love helping people save time and money because you want to enjoy the ride. So I made the investment over all the years of this learning, but I have this platform now that people can take advantage of and learn on their own, which is great.
Yeah. And then you're known as the business healer. Let's elaborate a little bit about what that means.
Yeah. So it used to be called the fixer. I used to be called in when things were really going bad. And it was like, come in, Kareen, help us recover this business, help us get back on track and kind of realign the strategy for growth. And I don't like necessarily the responsibility of fixing things, but because that's a lot to take on. And what I found was actually the work I was doing was going into these environments and healing the inner traumas that businesses go through that you forget to face, and then figure out what are the solutions to move forward in a more aligned way. So what does that look like? Because that sounds so abstract, right? But as I was just saying, like, leaders are representatives of what is happening in that business, right? So if a leader isn't growing themselves, then that business is no longer growing. And sometimes that stuckness that a business is going through is because the people leading it aren't facing their limitations. And that requires some healing and sometimes an ego check. Sometimes it's here's the strategy on how to move forward based on the vision that you want. And maybe you're not the right person actually to lead it. So sometimes it requires them to step down and let other people come in. So I've been called a business healer because it's not just about the system of the business and the revenue streams and making the money. It's actually about making sure that the people in that system are feeling whole, going after what it is they want, and feeling seen on the journey that they're going on. A lot of that gets missed. So because I intertwine the interpersonal skills with, the acumen, like the specialty, the skills, it became a healing journey for a lot of people.
Yeah. And then as you say, healing journey, I'm thinking about going to the hospital when you break something, right? You mask it, you put a cast on it, or even a Band-Aid, right? You're not in the business of putting Band-Aids on. You're like, let's get to the core root. What causes this to begin with? And let's rip it out so that it doesn't happen again.
Or it's sometimes with that analogy you just came up with, the breakage. Sometimes you do have to seal the breakage, but then you got to go to PT and learn how to use that part of your body again. And because of that constraint that happened, now the actual whole is different, right? Like you are now a little bit fractured. So how are you going to function with that fracture? You got to go find your PT, you got to do the work, you got to realign things. You might have to change how you move forward because now your body is different, right? Exactly right. Like that's how it shows up in business. But we don't pay enough attention to the fractures and the recovery process from that fracture in order to really build a solid foundation of what is this business all about and who do I have to become to actually lead it forward.
Who has time for that though, right? You got 100 things coming at you. If you're an entrepreneur, you're wearing 700 hats.
Yeah, but that also needs to be checked, honestly, because sometimes, entrepreneurship is a choice. Like I love to put a mirror in front of people and be like, don't tell me you're stressed about stuff because you're choosing to show up in it, like truth, right?
Yeah.
And there's a matter of knowing that this is a choice every single day to choose to be an entrepreneur. So choose wisely. Like you actually are in control of the stress that you put into your business. And if you are feeling super stressed, I like to say this, if your hustle becomes a hassle, it's no longer for you. When it becomes a hassle, it means you probably need an up-leveling yourself, or you need to get out of your own way, or you need to ask for help, which is the hardest thing for an entrepreneur because they generally think that they are supposed to do it all. And I love sharing I call it my CEO conundrum quiz, where it's like, no, actually, you need to know what lane you're supposed to be in that is innate to you so you can enjoy the ride that you're choosing and then go higher for the rest. Or just decide that this is what you're going to do and partner with other companies that do the rest. Like there's so many other ways to figure it out. So you could easily say, yeah, we got to do it all, but I just don't believe it.
Yeah.
That's not how I scaled my business.
Of course, that's not how anyone will, right? I agree with you. You got to be able to automate or delegate it, right? Or just get rid of it. It doesn't belong.
Exactly. Or just be like, you know what, this isn't the business for me. Because a lot of the times too, I think entrepreneurs, they start a business because they want the so-called freedom. But really, if you don't do it with the right intentions, you're actually giving yourself your own trappings. You're just becoming an employee of a construct you designed versus like the thing you're trying to lead to monetize, to earn that freedom that you truly want, which is your time.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's that consciousness that matters on how you move forward in action.
Truth right here. I love it. Now, what you embody, Jim Rohn actually said it. He said, when you grow, your business will grow.
Yes.
And that's you. That is what you live off. Let's talk about that shift, that mindset shift to actually scale.
Yeah, I think it was well, and in my own business, right? So when I jumped from, and I was a six-figure earner for many years, and then I jumped from 6 to 7, and then now I help companies go 7 to 8. Like the money mindset is really important if you are in business for what you are trying to create. And I'm not saying that every business needs to be a 7-figure. I'm just telling my particular journey of how I was just safe and almost like playing smaller. Yeah. Because I only thought in the 6-figure. What ended up happening when I started to think about 7 figures, I asked these 2 questions. Said, who do I have to become to earn that much in my business? Like to bring that in, like what's the role I'm meant to play? And what if I only spent 10% of my time in my business to do it? Mm. Because when you remove yourself from being the one that has to earn it all, right? So I easily could have built a business where I charge $500 an hour, work 40 hours a week and make $1 million a year. That's 7 figures, right? Like that's the simple math on that thing. But I didn't want to work that much. Like I didn't want to do that type of work. I don't want to go hustle that way. Like that would have totally been a hassle for me and I would not have been happy about it. So I then had to add the additional line item, which was, what if only 10% of my time were spent to earn that through this business? What would that look like? And so that mindset shift was so important because it helped me realize that I am not the be all end all of what it takes to run this business. I have to be the leader of it to say, this is the business we're in. These are the expertise we need. This is how we're going to operate. And this is who I have to become to lead it. And I literally hit that 7-figure mark in my business within 6 months of that decision.
Wow, that's impressive.
Like, it was pretty wild because I was in my own way. I wasn't leveraging what I knew really well, and I wasn't open to bringing in the right people to support me. And until when I made that shift and I challenged myself to just be action towards that, and I'm very action oriented because I help other people do the same, right? So I eat my own food, as I like to say. So going after it, I was able to close. I think it was over $1 million actually in a 6-month period.
Now this is for your coaching platform, Hey Kareen.
No, this is in my consulting business that I originally started, which is still active and runs 7 figures through it without much time from me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's one of my businesses. My Hey Kareen platform is the online entrepreneurial, or it's an app. So Hey Kareen is an app that allows you to get on-demand business coaching through my AI clone. I basically have taken all my learnings, all my methodologies, my books, my podcasts, my conversations, my coaching, and I fed it into an AI clone of me so that all you entrepreneurs out there who want that support in the challenge to say, hey, Kareen, that's why it's called that. And you ask your question, whatever that question might be, whether it's leadership, relationships, sales, like how you build a team, anything you feeling challenged by, or anything you even want to celebrate. Even it helps you with language on like how to describe what you're trying to do based on my coaching stance. So that's what the Hey Kareen app is. I've centralized all my everything for you, every learning, everything for you to leverage on the go. So it's kind of having a business coach in your pocket. That's how I like to say.
Impressive. And an app. So you have multiple businesses, multiple streams of income, and you are doing 10% at each.
Yeah. And I enjoy my life. 100%. Yeah. I make choices where I spend my time because once I learn that way of just getting out of my own way, I make sure anything I build next is going to do that, right? My life comes first. My businesses fuel my life. And in order for that to happen, I have to be solid in the role I play in all of it, but also be very clear on the strategy for each of the businesses that I run, but then also who I need to call in to support me to do it.
Yeah, let's talk about some of the strategies to be able to do that. One of them is you don't have to do all the work is what I'm hearing, being able to automate or delegate. Let's talk about some other strategies for those listening on how they can actually get to that level to get out of their own way so they can actually see some growth.
So a lot of it first is to identify your role first. So the first thing is being clear on the vision, right? So if you know the target you're trying to hit, and if you have no clue what it takes to run that version of your business in the future, because that's a lot of where people take a misstep. They have this big dream and this big, I want this, I want it to look this way. And it's great. You definitely need visualization. But the trickery of it is like, well, now how do we make it tangible? And how would I need to show up in it? And I think people miss the step of actually asking those who have gone ahead and maybe achieved that thing that they're striving for to be like, what did you do to get here? Mm-hmm. What is the construct of that? Now that's like the information age, you can go research everything and you can ask for a conversation with pretty much anyone. You could DM anyone and be like, hey, how'd you get here? What happened? Right? With genuine interest, obviously, not for an opportunist sake. But when you are clear on like, oh, wait, so if I want this vision, then I have to actually construct it this way. Well, then what's the expertise needed? And then you put your people strategy against that. Because I think a lot of people just think about selling and they might think of the execution of the sale, especially if they're the service. Or they're the creator of the thing. They become very attached to how that works, where I would say be more open to making it more effective and then clear on that end goal so that you can figure out the who you need to fill it to get there. And it might not be you. The biggest route to freedom is to be an owner of a business and let other people run it, right? But that takes you detaching from the role that you've been playing to say, oh, I want to move into an owner role. Okay, great. Then who do you need, to come and do that? And if you're having difficulty identifying the role you're meant to play in the business, that's innate to you. So I believe in your zone of genius, right? Yeah. Like, there's something that we're so clear on. Like if I'm not doing this thing every day, I'm not being me. And generally in a business, there are 3 distinct roles that every company has, which is a creator, someone who's coming up with the ideas, the concepts, the what are we putting out there, the vision, the brand of it all. That's the creator role. And then you have your entrepreneur. I call the entrepreneur, which is the person, a true entrepreneur is like into making business happen. It's the person who loves sales, loves putting it out there, like loves a deal, loves to be out in public, like just attracting more business in. And then you have your operator that's actually executing. And to me, that's the CEO. Right? Like, so every business has all 3 roles. Now, if you're challenged by knowing which role you're meant to play, then I would go take my quiz. And it's just heykareen.com/CEO, because then you'll know your role to be clear on, okay, this is who I want to be. Now I got to go find at least the other 2 type of support, whether it's a virtual assistant, or it could be an actual COO, depending on the scale of your business, or it could be the person who's selling if you want to stay in creator. Like knowing though your zone, I think is the top strategy if you're trying to accelerate your growth and just really have a winning business. But most of all, like I said before, enjoy the ride.
Yeah, I like the 3 roles because as you're talking, I can identify which one I stand with, and everyone in the listening can as well. It's like pivotal to know where you stand and like, okay, this is what I'm missing. This is who I'm missing.
Yeah. And I would take the quiz in the sense of it'll give you the actual description of who to look for when you're trying to replace yourself. Because a lot of us, I'll tell you, especially if you're a solopreneur, you're all 3.
Yeah.
So even though you might know what role you're meant to play in, but you probably are playing all 3. So you're in the center of that triangle and you are probably a little bit miserable right now because you're not staying in your zone, Yeah. So there are tools that come to you once you take the quiz to help you with that transition. If it helps your audience, I would love to help them that way. Yeah.
Of course. Let's talk about your morning routine. How do you get up, dress up, and show up to do all that you do?
Yes, I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with my daily rituals. I really am. I got them under lock, a few years ago, and I've been very consistent on them. So it actually starts the night before. Yeah. I am in bed and asleep, unless there's an event of some sort that I must go to by 10 p.m. Because if I love to stay with my circadian rhythm, and so it starts in the evening. I make sure my phone is on do not disturb or turned off into airplane mode so that I'm not disturbed throughout the night. And I have to have almost complete darkness when I sleep so that when I do toss and turn at times that no light is waking me up. So it really does start at night for me. So then when I wake up, I do not set alarms. I let my body naturally awake. And it's generally anywhere between like 4:45 and 6 a.m. And I rise, I change into my workout clothes. I go do my meditation, my journaling, and I ask for the universe or, energy to show me what's meant for me. And I really set an intention for the day. Through my journaling, I get my thoughts out to organize myself. And so that's all happening in the morning. And then I go into my workout and I like to sweat every morning, some way, shape, or form. I sweat, stretch. And lately I've been lifting a lot. So I'm really liking the muscle definition I'm getting, but really move into that. To then post-workout, have my breakfast, and then I start to connect with the world. Then it's like, check my email, like what's happening today, make sure I'm right for the schedule I have. And then I start to serve all day long. I truly believe that you have to serve yourself first in order to serve others the rest of the time. So I'm very, very ritualistic about my daily habits for sure.
Yeah, you can't give what you don't have, right? So you have to replenish, you have to fill your cup before you can fill others. And you do with the thousands of people you work with. And so CrossFit is my thing of the morning.
I've been doing F45. So it's similar. And CrossFit, though, will push you hard. Yeah, I love that for you. That's awesome.
Yeah, like you too. I don't think I can go back. I've done all the other stuff. I've been a runner.
It's hard. Yeah. I'm a little obsessed. I go 3 times a week and then I do cardio in between. It's amazing.
Yeah, you feel good.
Yeah.
Why sweat? Because tell me why sweat. Why you put the body to this rigorous and gruesome thing so early in the morning?
Yeah, so I like it wakes me up, honestly, like it just attaches me to my body, right? So when I do my daily sweat, it's just more of a hello body, because I can be in my mind more often than not. I also like to lift heavier these days because it shows me that I can do something strong each day, and it gives me more stamina for the other mentally strong things I have to get through, right? But the sweat is just such a release to me. I always say, like, if I go more than a day and I haven't moved my body, truly, I become a curmudgeon. Like, I just don't feel like myself.
Of course.
So it could even be a light sweat, but it's so important. It's a detox for me. And I feel like I don't carry around as much when I release it in that space. I also like to dance too. Yeah. I like to shake to any beat. So, if any of your listeners have good music for me to listen to, send it on over, because I really do. I Zumba every week as well. So I also like to dance. Yeah,
it makes you happier. Releasing serotonin is pretty amazing. Tell us, where can we connect with you? Where can we find you?
Yeah, so I love it. I show the behind the scenes of me being an entrepreneur in real life a lot on Instagram. So it's Kareen Z Walsh on Insta. Obviously, you can connect with me and follow me on LinkedIn as well. And then heykareen.com is the access to the app. And that's like the most I will be putting most of my content, and most of my impact-based work is going to go all into that app. So if you download the app, then you'll have the latest and greatest of what I'm doing and be able to stay connected with me that way as well.
And that's over 20 years of experience. And it's been, thank you so much for sharing all your wealth of knowledge in that app, but also in what you do daily. It's been such a joy and pleasure having you on today, Karen.
Thank you, Dr. Need.
Thank you so much.
All right, morning enthusiasts, that's it for today's show. Thank you for tuning in. If you love the Best Morning Routine Ever podcast, we'd love to hear from you. So go ahead and subscribe, rate, and give a review on iTunes or Google Play. While you're at it, tell a friend about the show. Be sure to visit bestmorningroutineever.com and our Facebook group to join the conversation, access the show notes, and discover our fantastic free bonus content. Until next time,